All right, good afternoon. We'll call the December 5th, 2023 meeting of the Site Plan Review Technical Advisory Committee meeting to order. First item of business is the approval of the minutes from November 7th.
I move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes have been adopted. We have two postponements. Item A under old business, 686 Maplewood is postponing to January, as well as item A under new business for 581 Lafayette Road. So that takes us to item B under old business, the request of Prospect North 815 LLC owner for property located at 815 Lafayette Road, requesting site plan review approval for the demolition of the existing building along Sagamore Creek and the construction of 3 4-story 24-unit multifamily buildings totaling 72 units with first-floor parking. The project will include associated site improvements such as parking, pedestrian access, community space in the form of a park with public access, utilities, stormwater management, lighting, and landscaping. Said property is located on Assessor Map 245, Lot 3, and lies within the Gateway Corridor G1 district.
Thanks, Peter. Neil Hansen with Tyne Bond. So we were here last month. Our revised submission addressed all the comments we had received at that prior to and at that last meeting. Primarily, the biggest piece of that was a revised community space exhibit, which now excludes the area between the 0 and 25-foot wetland buffers. And then it shows it extended all the way down to that abutting property for a potential future connection if any of the other land gets developed in the future, while maintaining the previously discussed wood chip path along the frontage of our development area. We received one additional comment yesterday related to adding language to our development site conditional use permit request, noting that a portion of the community space is on a separate parcel of land, and we'll make that revision for the submission to the planning board. That triangle of land that's referenced is under common ownership to this development parcel. That was really it for updates from our previous submission, and answer any other questions.
Any questions from TAC members? Comments?
You said they're both owned by the same person?
Yes.
Can they do that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate the community space addition. I don't have any questions about it. It's nice to see it going all the way across the property, even if it only goes, the trail doesn't go the whole way, but the park space will be appreciated in the future. Maybe some connections can be made, but it's a good plan.
No additional comments. We'll open it up for any public comment on this application. If anyone would like to speak to this application. All right, seeing no one present or on Zoom, we'll close the public comment portion and open it back up to TAC for further discussion or motion.
I have
That,
one comment on note 13 under the site notes for the emergency gate. It says it'll be equipped with a Knox box. Can we just have that equipped with a Knox padlock?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Said 13? Oh, got it.
That's not going to be an electric gate, right? Just to,
Yeah, correct.
Anything else?
I'll make a motion to move this on to the planning board. Patch stipulation added to the stipulation that was in the comments that was delivered to the applicant yesterday.
I'll second.
all right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, as I mentioned, item A under new business for 581 Lafayette is postponed to January. So that brings us to item B, the request of Portsmouth Submarine Memorial Association owner for property located at 569 Submarine Way, requesting amended site plan approval to construct an approximately 1,588 square foot addition attached to the existing visitor center building and associated site improvements. Said property is located on Assessor Map 209, Lot 87, and lies within the Single Residence B District. Sorry, go ahead, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. John Shagnon from Amen Engineering. Haley Ward, also here, representatives from Portsmouth Submarine Memorial Association, overseers and keepers of the Albacore Submarine Albacore Park. So the park wishes to do an addition to the museum building, approximately 1,588 square feet. The addition is going to be attached to the existing museum building. I don't know how much of a presentation you want. I think we did a workshop, but this is the first TAC meeting, so we can go through the plans if you'd like, or just go to the comments. It's up to the-
I think if you start with addressing the comments that were
Sure.
sent out, and then we have
Okay.
another further.
So we have a letter and attached slightly revised plans to address the comments we received from the committee about the plan. And I'll go through the comments. So the first comment was, please provide documentation that the water line easement that crosses over parcel 20954 has been assigned to the city. So we had, previously, we did provide some information. I don't know if that was at all determinative, but the third page of the submission before you is the current deed. The property is currently owned by the James J. Murphy and Carla J. Murphy Revocable Trust, and their deed is subject to, the last paragraph on the first page, subject to a 10-foot water easement as shown on plan dated July 26, 1984, and recorded as Plan C-12849. The second page of the submission is the deed that was the first deed out. So the Albacore Trust, Joseph Sautel trustee, granted to a Carla Marvin the property now known as the tax map 209 lot 54, and the deed last paragraph is subject to a 10-foot water easement as shown on the plan. And then I provided that said plan C-12849, which shows the property that Albacore Trust purchased, and then pretty much the sole purpose of that acquisition was to bring a water line from Leslie Drive onto the submarine property, and then they sold the lot with the 10-foot water easement on it. So it's a question of legality,
So
the usual.
the comment had to do with the water easement going to the Albacore, but the comment had to do with the getting assigned to the city.
So currently, that lot is owned by James J. Murphy and Carla J. Murphy. So the Portsmouth Submarine Memorial Association, I guess if you could link them to the original grantor of the easement, they would be happy to grant the city whatever rights they have in that easement. What I think this is a matter to further legal review, but the easement is not described as to a particular party. It's just says a 10-foot easement. And if the city put the pipe in, then one might assume that they would have the right to keep the pipe. I don't know, that's a legal question, so I don't think we're going to solve it here, but
Okay.
we're certainly willing to
So we're
work
going
with
to
the
keep
city.
that comment in play until, even if you get an okay
Yeah.
to it.
Correct. I'm not sure that that they can compel the current owners to,
No, but they should
List
be able
the
to
city.
assign their easement rights over to another entity for the same purpose, I
Uh-huh.
would think.
if they have to, yep.
Yep.
So that's submission for that, number one. Please include a note that references the variance granted for the property for the expansion. And the first 11 by 17, sheet C4, in the middle of the bottom, we added a box showing the zoning board approval. A variance from section 10440, use 3.40, to allow a museum where the use is not permitted, and that was granted on October 17th, 2023. Next comment was increase the number of handicap spaces to account for the unmarked parking lot. So on that same sheet 4, in the unmarked parking area, we identified 26 possible spaces, 10 possible spaces on the northwest side, and then across the aisle from that would be another 26 possible spaces. And we added note 10, ADA parking space requirement. So if you add all those spaces that could be striped, you would come up with 119. That would require 5 ADA spaces. So the ADA spaces in front of the addition where the sidewalk is being provided at the pavement edge was revised to show 5 ADA spaces. And then,
What keeps the cars from rolling onto the sidewalk? We're not showing us the valley column posts at the head of each parking space so that the cars don't impede the sidewalk and the, because the sidewalk has to be flush, right, for all
Yes.
those different spaces to be accessible.
Mhm.
So if you could show bollards at the head of all those spaces to be installed with the proper signage, that would solve the issue.
okay,
As long as it doesn't block the route, you know.
Right. Shouldn't block the road.
shouldn't block the route, because if it's in the middle of the spot, that wouldn't block the route.
Yeah.
You do have a note saying add ADA parking signage pointing to the building, but
Right, so show the bollards and.
Right,
a little-
because
Put
at
a
the-
little note so that it's pointing to the bollards,
Right. Yeah.
please.
Yep. I mean, at the time that I put that note in, I anticipated the sign would be on that side of the sidewalk.
Yeah, I
But
get
the
it.
bollard idea is perfect.
Okay,
All right. Include list of previously received comments with responses or noted changes to plan. I followed up with a question about that. And we had a TAC workshop, so I kind of repeated what I heard at the TAC workshop. I don't know if that was the intent of that comment, or if there's another question that came up that we can answer.
It's more of easy review. I mean, you've made changes based on what we said, so I would assume you probably wrote those down. If those could come back in a list with either noted changes, so we can easily see what alterations were done, that,
Okay?
yeah.
So the things talked about was the source of heat. Propane forced hot air was the response. The force main from the basin needed to be connected, and we've added that connection. On the grading and drainage plan, a note was made to provide fire-resistant floor construction if it's a crawl space, and we made the architect aware of that. Question was asked about the flood zone elevation, which we added to the flood zone note. The water easement issue came up, and we did provide some information to planning about that. The quest was to add bike racks, so we added 5 bike racks to the site plan. The ghost ship had been removed, so we took that off the plans. Lighting information, the architect was supposed to provide, so that would probably carry forward as a condition. And then the stop bar at the driveway entrance, we added to the site plan sheet. The plans also show a proposed yard drain, so if you look at the sheet C6, the last sheet, the grading and drainage plan, I did mention to the workshop that we had not yet done a complete grading work, and so this plan shows the proposed spot grades, and we decided to add a yard drain on the west side of the building to just ensure that that area doesn't become soggy. And we show a drain line that would go around and connect to the proposed drain manhole. Additionally, there was there's an existing sump pump that drains into DMH1 on the east side of the building. And upon further review of the site drainage, there was a lot of changes that were made when the bypass was reconstructed. So CB2 has been removed. The pipe into drain manhole 1 from the south is capped. And so we believe that the drain manhole 1 serves no purpose anymore. So we noted that to remain in place but be abandoned. The pipe that goes from drain manhole 1 to catch basin 1, which goes under the existing building, will be filled with flowable fill, and then in the area where the addition is proposed, it will be removed along with that catch basin. Additionally, there was a plan that had a location of the lighting conduit that feeds the lights, the parking lot lighting. So we added that approximate location to sheet C5 and put notes on both plans that the contractor was to determine the exact location of that and report it to the team before construction so that we can make appropriate changes as there's a conflict with the proposed water service. I think that covers the changes. Hope that answers the questions, and hopefully we can move forward to the planning board.
All right, thank you, John. Any other comments, questions from TAC members?
So the lighting plan will be included with the planning board submission?
Yes.
Do you know what it entails?
Yes, and I think we have a note. Basically, there's going to be building-mounted lighting to light the walkways. Everything else, the parking lot has the fixtures already, so there won't be other lights.
Okay.
So I think it would be fairly contained in the area immediately adjacent to the building and not be an impact to the neighborhood. But we wanted to get the architect to tell us the fixture that was appropriate.
Yeah.
So we need that spec, and then we can complete that lighting plan. We want the fixture to match the architectural style of the building.
Yep, and they'll be dark sky friendly.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, if there are no further comments, Would anyone from the public like to make a comment on this application? No one on Zoom, so we'll close that portion and open it back up to TAC for discussion or motion.
I'll make a motion, if there's no other comments, to move this on to the planning board. The following things are to be maintained on the list is the lighting around the building, the assignment of the water easement to the city of Portsmouth, the adding of the bollards at the head of the spaces with appropriate signage on them. Did I forget anything?
Thanks very
I
much.
believe that's it.
That's what I had. Anything else?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we can set up, maybe we can set up a call with Trevor,
Sure.
just to talk about that easement, see what, I don't know, what the legal.
All right. That's all for business
I'll-
today.
I'll have him
So,
review that.
motion to adjourn?
And then I'll
So
come
moved.
back to you with a time.
Second.
All right.
Yeah,
We're adjourned.
Kevin Ball would be.